Okay, in this video I want to talk about an optional topic. I'm not going to test you on this, but I just wanted to show you because I find it goes well with these libraries that we created in the last video. And the idea is there's more than one way to define a function in JavaScript. Let's see if I can go to, let's do this math one first. So in my math extensions, we're used to defining functions by doing the keyword function, the name of the function, any parameters, etc. But you can also define a function. I believe this is called a function statement. You can also do a function expression. And the way it looks is you kind of think of this random des as a variable, right? It's a function, that's the name of the function, it's like a variable. So you could go random des and assign it, but instead of giving it a number or a string, you would assign it to be a function, like that. And any parameters would go in here, and then the body of the function could go inside of here. And then, okay, so we have the same thing. I can comment this out now, maybe. And this should behave the same way it did before. Let random des be assigned a function that takes in a low and a high value and returns this. I'll save that. Do I still have this program running? Yes, I do. We'll make sure it's one of the ones that use that. Oh no, random decimal right there. Still works great. Okay. Now there are some weird things about function expressions that you can't use it before you load it, whereas otherwise you can. But you know, we don't need to worry about that too much. The main reason I wanted to show you this is because we have this wonderful math object. Right? We go math.random. Wouldn't it be cool if I'm talking about math extensions, I'd like to add on to this math object and go math.random decimal 1 to 10. Right? But that's not a function. It doesn't exist. Right? If we look at this math object, right, you can see, oh, it's an object with these properties and these different functions. Right? Absolute value is a function that has, well, I can't look at it, but anyway. I want to add on to this list of functions. And the way we can do that is with these function expressions. So instead of this, I'm going to just access math dot, right? I'm going to access this global math object that's part of JavaScript and go dot random decimal, which will add a new property called random decimal, which will be a function. Okay? And now in this program here, this won't work, okay, because inside of here now, instead of random decimal, I need to go math.random decimal. Math.random decimal. And I'll do the same thing for the random int. Okay, save that, and then we'll do the same thing here. Math.random int is assigned a function, low, high, do this. Okay. And now, hopefully, everything should be good again. Cool. And I can even use it in here, right? Because this web page has loaded random int from 1 to 7, let's say. I got a 6. Cool. Okay, now why bother doing this? One way is just for continuity. I'm used to math.random. Now I can go math.random int, math.random des, as long as I load this file into my website, right? Then I can use these. The other thing too is that if I would have left random int as a, well, let me just show you. If I do test and just go console.log test, right? And what if in my main.js function here, all of a sudden I wanted to have a variable called, hey, let test be assigned 5, just for funsies, and then I tried to go test, right? And I tried to call this function from the math extensions. And just to show this, let's go test over here, like that, and I go here. Oh dear, what's going on? Identifier test has already been declared. Main.js line 1. Well, I mean, it says line 1, but I think that's because here I'm going let test. Well, I've already declared a variable called test. Right? I can't reuse this function name as a variable. So that comes into a problem, right? And basically, the reason I wanted to go math.randomInt is because what if I wanted to use randomInt as a variable name? If I defined randomInt as a function name, I couldn't use it as a variable. So it kind of protects these names and puts them part of the math object, so they don't tie up. I could now use that as an actual variable name if I wanted to. Okay, so that adds my little math extensions. I want to do something with the graphics library as well. This might get a little more complicated. Let's do the one with the robot face. What I want to do here is to keep this consistent. You know how we do context.fillRect and we go fill triangle. I think it would be nice. Actually, let's just do the smaller one so I don't have to change as much stuff. Right? Here I do fill circle. I wish I could go context.fillCircle, just to be consistent again, and to not tie up the global variable namespace, right? All the names that can't be used. So to do that, I'm thinking, what was that? Fill circle. I'd like to go context.fillCircle is assigned a function. Right? I'd like to take that context, that global context variable, and add a property called fillCircle, which will be a function that does this. Okay, let's save that. Let's go live on this one. I think I had closed it. And we're going to have an error. In my graphics library, context is not defined. Okay, in my graphics library, because I'm loading this first before main.js, main.js is where I create my context. And my graphics library is trying to use that context before I create it. Okay? Here's what I think is the best fix for this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a function called Init Graphics. And inside of this function, I'm going to put all of these draw functions. And I'm going to define all of these functions inside of here. Right? Context.fillTriangle is assigned a function. Same thing here. Context.strokeTriangle is assigned a function, just doing those function expressions. Context.strokeCircle is assigned a function. And then context.line is assigned a function. Okay, and now these function definitions are inside of this Init Graphics function. So now I won't get, where am I going? Okay, I got a different error. It knows what context is, but now it's saying, hey, fillCircle is not defined in my main.js. So this graphics library is fine. It's just defined a function. We haven't actually tried to execute any of these things yet. So what I'm going to suggest we do is inside of here, we go Init Graphics. Right? So main.js will create the canvas in the context, and then I'll call Init Graphics from here. And because it's now, we're calling this function after context has been created, we should be able to add all these things. Ta-da! And line isn't defined because, whoops, where am I going? In this one, line isn't defined because it's now context.line. Ta-da! Okay, and I think this Init Graphics we could actually improve a little bit. I could pass in some arguments, this canvas.width, canvas.height. Right? Might as well do that right here. Create the canvas, create the context, and then in my Init Graphics, I'm going to have an init width and an init height. And the first thing I'll do is just go canvas.width is assigned init width, and canvas.height is assigned init height. Right? And just simplifies this. Now to do graphics, I just have to create my canvas, create my context, and then init this. And I have access to all of these wonderful methods in here. Ta-da! Oops, didn't run over that. Okay, so like I said, this isn't necessary, but I like the idea of this math dots and context dot, and we're adding those functions to those objects. Okay, I thought that's a neat skill to have. This graphics library especially we can add on to this and add like collision detection stuff in here, and then the mouse and key detection and stuff like that. And I think that'll be a good project starter to make an awesome graphics library. Okay, this was optional, like I said, but hopefully this is the wrong graphics library. This is the right one. So that's another thing. You might want to make sure that you save these libraries in like a libraries folder, so you know where your good library is, and you can copy and paste it for whatever project you have. All right, anyway, I felt like I rambled a bit on this one. Sorry, talking too fast, but hopefully this made sense. And take care, and see you in the next video.